Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben, and I'm joined here by Brian and Chad to talk about Week 9 of Big Brother 27. It's been a rough week in the Big Brother streets. I don't know how I don't know if we really have to go through everything that happened with Rachel and everything like that. And we can kind of briefly go through our thoughts, but I feel like all of us are just going to basically say the same thing, and it's going to be what 99% of people have been saying for the last week. So I don't know how useful that really is.
Yeah, well, I'll just say very stupid twist. Didn't want to see it go that way. Kind of weird that Tyler was there for it, but
Yeah, very, very jet lagged Tyler, who was kind of slowly meandering through his lines and clearly was kind of half asleep.
Yep, I do think he was a good choice for the White Lotus riff. Honestly,
Yeah,
so
he definitely looks like the guy in the first season who ends up having sex with the Australian guy. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
God damn it.
No, that guy's a star. He's in so many movies now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we don't love it. It's not good. We're gonna try to move past it as much as possible and just cover this month of mayhem as professionally as possible. There's been seasons that we didn't finish the podcast. I want this season, we're gonna ride it till the wheels come off.
Yeah. Usually we don't finish the podcast for reasons that are irrelevant to the quality of the season and the content that we're putting out. I'm pretty sure finished VB22 despite not really enjoying that season. I'm pretty sure we finished Celeb season 3, even though that was also a mess of a season. There are other seasons we'd meant to cover BB Can 10 after covering BB Can 9, and we never did. That's one of the big things that has always annoyed me is not being able to cover that season. There's it's almost historic that we always accurately and actively cover the worst seasons and end up flaking out on the good seasons.
Right.
So
we're just trying to.
It's bad.
Yeah, we're just trying to provide the fans with something. If the show itself can't provide entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, the big thing that we talk about on this show and Survivor and the Lion Fighters and everything about when it comes to twist design is best case scenario, worst case scenario. And in this situation with the twist, obviously the best case scenario was still bad. In the worst case scenario was this, which was awful. And I have always been on the record that I don't particularly care about fairness on these shows from a perspective of wanting the game to be fair because I care about fairness as an entity for the players or whatever. I care about fairness from the perspective of making a compelling television product. And it's really watching yesterday's episode, it to me just showed how uncompelling this twist is within a normal season of Big Brother this late, because nothing that happened mattered. None of the social strategy mattered. None of the decisions that were made fundamentally mattered. They will have ramifications in terms of the social, relationships. Vince picking Lauren does have social ramifications with Morgan, but ultimately so much of the decisions that were being made didn't matter. Rachel grabbing Ava and that pissing her off and Ava not picking Rachel first probably doesn't matter, because I think Rachel probably would have still got eliminated even if she had 6.5 minutes based off of what we were seeing. Vince picking Lauren and then Lauren picking Morgan, that chain of events wouldn't have ended up mattering, because ultimately it just came down to who's going to finish the comp within the boundaries of the outline that was given to them. So Lauren capitulating to Vince and still picking Morgan wouldn't have ended up mattering, because she would have, if Morgan had picked Kelly probably would have succeeded. Then Kelly would have picked Rachel. Rachel still would have gone. If Lauren picked, one of her allies at that point, then they probably would have picked then Rachel, and then Rachel still would have gone. None of the strategy mattered. All that mattered was that Rachel couldn't do the competition. And that's what's really frustrating, because like the show tried to sell us that there was social strategy involved, but there wasn't. Or there was, but none of it mattered. And all that mattered was the competition. And that's what's ultimately like just not compelling television.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, it really has derailed the season in a way that I don't know if we can get it back on track, but we're gonna try here. There are some interesting elements, despite the air being taken out of the ball this week, and a lot of players just kind of being like, well, if we can get eliminated by challenges, then the game itself doesn't matter. That's too bad. I don't know. Do you guys think there's going to be another competition to
That's
eliminate?
the speculation, at least from the players. Yeah.
Gross. That's horrible.
I mean, who knows? Like there's an outside chance that production, sees a backlash to this and pivots, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, I guess we'll see who wins this season of the Challenge USA 3.
Yeah, so I guess we can get into it in terms of like this upcoming and current week. Lauren ends up winning her second HOH. She is one of 3 people who got to compete for it, something that I think is also being underreported as one of the 3 horrible decisions with this twist. We didn't see it in the episode, but Morgan did talk in the feeds about how she threw the HOH portion of the competition by waiting the timer out after she'd already got in before hitting the button. So realistically, all Lauren had to do was beat Vince, and there was speculation that Vince also threw in terms of like, you have to complete the maze and hit the button. So Vince and Morgan completed the maze, waited X amount of time, and then hit the button so that they wouldn't be HOH. So yeah, I mean, Lauren basically wins this HOH by default, is what I'm kind of getting at, and nobody else really like had an opportunity to be here, which is also stupid. I guess like what are our thoughts here on how Lauren like handles this HOH? Because basically her whole HOH reign is in this episode. They have her getting the HOH, her doing the nominations, the veto meeting, all of this, the conversations that happened.
I mean, I think she's playing very safe. I think, getting Kiana is her goal, and it's a good time to do it, seeing as the blockbuster twist isn't going anywhere. So, I mean, you got to start taking shots while you have the numbers still. So I think now's a good time as any. And like everyone said, this season's more about just winning comps than it is anything else. So if Kiana wins tomorrow night, then it's just another week. And then depending on who wins, you just got to keep putting people up. And the only real strategy is just having to backdoor people so they only have one chance of comping out rather than 2. And yeah, so I don't know. I think it's safe. Like, it's pretty much par for the course for Lauren.
Well, for the backdoor, this is the only round that they can backdoor, assuming they do another random like spin the wheel elimination. Because yeah, so like even like with the blockbuster still like in play, like if Keanu wins blockbuster and then wins HOH next week, I do think that we're looking at potentially a scenario where he's just coming out to the end. I think that would be him crossing the hurdle. So yeah, this is arguably the last time to really get him out.
Yeah, actually, because after this week, there's 7 left.
There's 7 left. There may be 6 left. So basically, everyone's playing the veto. Yeah. So Keanu will have 2 to 3 chances every week to be able to save himself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense from that point of view, but I don't think Keanu was ever coming for Lauren, so
Mhm.
I don't know if that's like necessarily good for her, but you know, it all kind of gets washed away a little bit by the fact that there's a blockbuster and you know, she had to nominate 4 people. It's not like she was going after Keanu right off the bat this week. It just kind of happened to fall for him. So I don't know. Like I'm not gonna hate on it too much, even though I'm not like terribly impressed with Lauren's gameplay. But it's a tough spot, you know.
Yeah, it's tough, and like this is why like the blockbuster also sticking around is dumb on top of the like random eliminations because like again it's just diluting the strategy. Like we're kind of like Lauren didn't really have any decision with her HOH nominations, which is a really stupid thing to have be the case in the final 8. So yeah, I agree. I think her nomination decisions were fine, but she just continues to bury herself in terms of gaining respect from the people that are going to end up on the jury. Keanu, if he does leave tomorrow, is headed to the jury with like basically zero respect for Lauren or her game. Rachel's already there with very little respect for Lauren or her game. So she's just really facing an uphill battle in terms of like potentially winning a jury vote. Like I think that she sees this move potentially as like a resume thing, but like something is only on your resume if you definitively call it as your move and you like own it. And she's not doing that. She's dancing around it. She's saying, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't really want to see you go. Like, this isn't me taking a shot. Like, yada, yada." She's not like, part of that is hedging in case he wins the blockbuster, obviously, because she's afraid of that. But like, she needs to own something. She needs to like put her stamp on the game in some way that, will earn her some respect, because right now she has none. And that's basically the one thing that's holding her back from potentially winning the season, is just like the entire season she has refused to take ownership of her actions. She is constantly not looking people in the eye as she lies to them. Like it's so bad. It's just really bad. So we'll see.
Does she win next to anyone? Like
she wins. I think she wins next to Vince, which is fun because Vince wants to take her to the final 2 right now. So, but we'll see. It's close because Vince very much is not liked as a player. People like Ashley and Will have had conversations about voting for Kelly over Vince. I think that like this past week has, Kelly, I would say for 8 weeks has had virtually no win equity. I think this week has opened up a handful of paths now for us to look at a potential Kelly win, which makes me sick to my stomach. So hopefully that's not that. Hopefully those paths don't happen. But I'm not again holding my breath because it's been a lot of disappointment.
What makes you more sick, Ben? Kelly potentially winning or Kelly hiding dead bugs all over the house?
Well, I mean, at least I can, not watch the feeds when she's on screen hiding dead bugs all over the house, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
If I have to live the rest of my life knowing that Kelly is a Big Brother winner, that's really disgusting. So.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is wrong with her? Why is she doing this?"
As Vince put it, she's quite eccentric. Yeah, that's definitely.
She is quite eccentric. That's true. That's very true. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I wish Lauren had a killer instinct, like you said, Ben. She just doesn't. She's not going to develop one at this point in the game. I think can kind of forgive the first HOH being pretty horrible just because it was early and, maybe she was going to grow from it, but it doesn't look like she did at all. So it's like, all right, well.
Yeah, the worst part with Lauren is she is at least somewhat self-aware, at least in the DR from what we've seen, right? She does take shots at herself like in terms of like, oh, I nominated an ally and he went home, in terms of referencing Adrian, or like, oh, like I'm so scared about like, the consequence. Like she is marginally self-aware of how she comes off and her mistakes and failures in the game. But the issue is she doesn't take that knowledge and apply it and like change her behavior, which is why it's so frustrating. It's like at least with Vince or like Keanu, they're like very unself-aware. Keanu especially, right? So like when Keanu does not change his behavior for 9 weeks or like adjust his gameplay in any meaningful capacity, I'm like, yeah, because he's delusional. He doesn't understand how he comes off. He doesn't understand like, that his reads are wrong or whatever. But Lauren, to a degree, seems to, and she still is not changing her behavior. It's just infuriating. It's so infuriating.
It sucks to watch, but you know what? I'd rather she win than Kelly. So there's that.
Yeah, at least Lauren has won HOH and made moves and has done things. It's just she doesn't own the fact that she's done things. And she's definitely like much more likable as a person than Kelly. But it's like a very low bar. Very low bar. She's just boring. She's boring and she's frustrating.
Yeah.
I think she'd be like
sorry, you go, Chad.
So I said I feel like she'd be like almost like a Jordan type of winner, but like minus the romance. Maybe that's because they're both like the Southern girl charm thing, but I don't know. I feel like Jordan also kind of had a similar strategy.
Jordan was more confrontational in BB11 than Lauren has ever even thought about being, to be fair.
Right.
BB13 too. Her and Shelly really got into it.
Yeah.
In that one.
Yeah.
I'm a Jordan defender personally, but I don't think this show treats her well enough for somebody who won and nearly won a second time. But regardless of that, I just think that Lauren, she's not going to change at this point. So I think like the best thing we can hope for is Vince cutting Morgan, thinking that he's going to win and then losing to Lauren. I think that's what he deserves, honestly.
It would be fun. That would at least be funny, right? Like that would at least, would I be like happy with Lauren as a winner? No, but I think that like at least would have some kind of, story payoff, which we have very little opportunities for at this point.
That's really the only dominant story. It's like Keanu fighting for his life on the outs, and then the trio with Vince in the middle of it, and that's about all we got right now.
Yeah, I personally go ahead, Chad.
No, I'm saying that's like literally all we have, and like the other 4 house guys don't even matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be. I do think that Ashley has played very well this week, and I think that Ashley is probably the best player left in the game at this point. But the issue with Ashley, she can't win comps. And at least she hasn't won a comp since week 1 with her veto. Mm-hmm. So, despite the fact that this week, she was the like tertiary target, which shouldn't mean that she is in danger, but in this season it does. Despite the fact that she is like the tertiary target, she has successfully, at this point at least, flipped the vote to keep herself safe in all circumstances tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of game left to be played between now and the eviction, so that could change. But as of right now, she is 100% safe headed into the eviction tomorrow, which is kind of like, surprising because Will, like they kind of like, they didn't really show it on the episode. They like kind of like danced around it, but he hurt himself pretty bad in BB Comics.
Really?
Yeah. They kind of, as they are tending to do when people hurt themselves in these comps, they, unless it's unhideable, they tend to try to cover it up. But yeah, he fucked up his leg and his knee pretty badly. So
he had it wrapped.
You can't really be doing 50. You can't really be 50 doing that comp, honestly.
Yeah. So Will's not winning any physical comps or comps that are even like tangentially physical. And he's shown himself to be pretty awful at memory comps as well. So the fact that Ashley is able to convince people to keep her over somebody who is basically not winning a single comp no matter what, unless it's like a coin flipping comp,
right.
it is impressive because, like, on paper, given the way that the rest of the season seems to be structured, you should just always vote out the person who is better in comps. And, like, while Ashley has not shown herself to be great in comps, like, throw her into a random comp with Will, she's probably beating him, 9 times out of 10.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to say Will is like okay with going, but I have seen that he's been like talking about looking forward to having like a cocktail with Rachel in the jury house. Like, I think at this point he's like, this show has turned into something that it wasn't before, and that does not play to my strengths at all. Because he really was a good social player this season. I don't want to like bury Will at all. I want to like, if Will is the last show we have before he's evicted, I want to give him some flowers,
We talked last week about Will being the most likely winner, right? Like, and I was, assuming that they weren't going to like the show on fire for no reason, right? Like, assuming that the Blockbuster was going to gotten rid of, and they were just going to do like 2 double evictions and not this like bullshit. Like,
right.
We're looking at a scenario where we're heading down towards like a final 5, final 4, where Will, Ashley, and Rachel are all there. Both, both of them probably want Will in their final 3. If he's sitting in the final 2 with Ashley, he wins in a landslide. Like, there were so many paths for Will to get to a win if the season were structured sanely, but like it isn't. So he basically is drawing dead now. So yeah,
sucks. Will would have been a fun winner to have.
He would have been the new oldest winner, but like the show doesn't want that.
That's a shame. Really is.
He's not out yet.
He's not out yet, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. I mean, look, I think the odds of Keanu not winning the Blockbuster tomorrow are pretty low. So if he does win the Blockbuster, Will is an honor. And even if Keanu does lose the Blockbuster and gets evicted, there's no path for Will at this point. There isn't, unless Ashley goes on a comp streak or something.
Right. That's the path, is actually all of a sudden becoming like the most dominant comp person in history.
Yeah, like Ashley would have to win like 4 back-to-back like competitions. Because like even Ashley at this point, like I say she's probably the best player in the house. If we're just talking about like standard Big Brother skills, but like again, her path to winning is like very slim because she does have to turn it on in comps at this point to win.
Sucks, but you know what? The show turned into something it wasn't. It just sucks. I don't know. Don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah.
It's tough because I feel like, especially with the Rachel elimination, they like, I don't like when they change the foundation and structure of the show in any way. Like, the whole point is you're supposed to get, evicted by a vote. So when someone gets just straight up eliminated, like, yeah, it worked in Reindeer Games because that's, it's a quick conversion of Big Brother. But like, if they just did this, like, worst times out of everyone in the house, worst 3 go on the block, and then the best gets HOH. Right. They had plenty of time to do that. Like, so now we're in a rush. So
yeah, I wouldn't love that, but I would love it a lot more than what it did. And I think we even could have been like, okay, if like the slowest person was just an automatic nom, like that would have been fine. It would have been stupid, but it would have been, forgivable.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is so crazy. And what I don't think the BB producers get is like, we liked this challenge in Big Brother Reindeer Games because it was like the only real social challenge in that season, instead of just being like strictly comp based. It was actually all of the players having to play like a social game for 1 round. And that was very compelling to watch a bunch of all-star players play it. And then it had like a big payoff with Danielle getting eliminated, and that went on to be a storyline on the Traders, and like it was a whole thing. But we only liked it because it felt closer to regular Big Brother than Reindeer Games did generally, and then this like made it so far away from regular Big Brother, like it's horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of that, like this blockbuster continuing past jury, which I think we're all
Crazy.
assuming that it would stop at jury.
Yeah.
Like, because now it's like once you get to that, like, I mean, now we're seeing it. Not even like final 5, 6. It's like we're already seeing that DOMs are pretty limited in what you can do. You're gonna have to, put up some of your allies no matter what, and it just comes down to can you pull yourself off the block, and you have multiple chances to do it. So it's just like Ava said in feeds, it's become a comp game, and the social game doesn't really matter as much. I mean, it's like I feel like we always said it was like 60-40 comps this year. Now it's like even worse. I would say it's like 80-20.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it really feels like the producers eventually heard people complain about the lack of the issue with comps not being winnable by like a wide variety of people, and they changed the comps a little bit last season into the season to make it so that more people could hypothetically win them. But they didn't really like internalize the reason why it was bad to begin with, that comps were only winnable by a small handful of people. And it's because it just makes the back half of the game, like what happened in BB25, like what happened to a degree in BB22, like what happened in BB21, where like the same small handful of people are just keeping power, and there's not any social strategy that matters because those people can just kind of control the game to a very tight degree. But like now they almost have like the inverse problem, where because they've injected competitions as so important into the game, but also made it so they're fairly random, it just kind of feels like nothing matters, and we're just flipping coins to decide who gets eliminated. And it's like, that's even worse, because at least like Jag put on an impressive run of winning competitions. Like, yeah, his competition in the house was like, Serene, Felicia, and like fucking America. And so it wasn't like that impressive, on the whole. Like obviously like Matt's an Olympian, but like Matt was also, surprisingly bad in comps. So like, while Jag was not like a super compelling winner story, there was like an element of like, oh, he earned it by winning all of these comps that were impressive for him to win. Now it's like we're just kind of waiting to see which ball or which spoke of the wheel the ball lands in on the roulette wheel of Big Brother, and then whichever person it lands on, they're just evicted this week, and then whoever gets the luckiest is just going to win. Like it's literally it's worse. They somehow like took the problem and like they pretended to fix it but made it worse, which is just classic Big Brother production.
Yeah, there needs to be some level of skill, and like here and there, a completely random challenge is fine. Like one of my favorite challenges is like the slide one, where you have to just like hit the biggest number, because like it's overall I'd say that's pretty random, but there is a good portion of skill involved in that. But it's still kind of random. So I don't know. I don't like the challenges where it's just a coin flip, like you're saying, and especially when there's now 4 a week, 3 a week. It's just too much, and it's too random. And like I guess one could argue that there is some social strategy involved with random challenges, because you have to be kind of cool with everyone. But then you get players like Vince who just are too afraid to hurt anyone, and like tries to not pit like the whole thing with Morgan. Like, oh, I don't want to piss Morgan off. I want to make Lauren happy this week. Piss Morgan off this week instead.
Or
of
Ava.
Lauren. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I think there's a better way to do this. I mean, we all liked the blockbuster in the beginning. Like we all said it on this podcast, but we also assumed it would stop at jury. So there's a right way to do the blockbuster. It's just not this.
Yeah, like Ben said, classic Big Brother production, to just like not understand why stuff works and twist it around and shoot themselves in the foot to make a less compelling product.
Yeah. And again, with the random comps, like the reason that people have talked about liking like crapshoot competitions is generally when it comes to HOHs. Like the idea of a crapshoot HOH is good because it means that a wider variety of people can win a larger amount of HOHs, which means you have to be in good with more people in order for your strategy to be better, as opposed to like having just like a committee style alliance where like the 6 best athletes get together and win every comp and you don't have to even talk to half of the house. That's boring. That's why that season was boring. Like if the comps for HOH were more random and people like, you know, Kevin, Devon, Janelle were winning those HOHs, then the strategy for that season would have been more interesting. But when you have the blockbuster and the decisions the HOH are making don't really matter because they have to nominate half the house anyways, or when you have people having random comps, but those random comps are to do this like weird elimination twist, it does the opposite. It's literally the opposite of the reason why crapshoot HOHs are good. And now you don't have to be in good with anybody because none of the strategy matters.
Right. Yeah, no, horrible. I don't have much else to say for this episode. Do you guys?
I mean, I just think everyone's mad that Rachel went home, but I think like we said in the texts, I think no matter who went home, we'd probably be still pretty like bummed out about this whole elimination thing. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that it's Rachel just stings a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at the end of the day, she lost the comp and it sucks. So, I mean, Ava said she only has herself to blame, which I guess is true, and she wanted to go play the comp. And I think if she even had 6.5 minutes, I don't know if she would have made it, to be honest. But so at the end of the day, yeah, it's Rachel's fault that she's in the jury house, but over a very, very dumb twist. Probably one of the worst, at least I've seen in Big Brother history.
Yeah, it's definitely like what it looked like was just she went in there worried that she didn't have enough time, and then it started to not work, and then she like panicked super hard and like just kept repeating the same mistake over and over again. Not instead of like taking a second to be like, am I doing this wrong? She just like kept trying to do the same thing wrong over and over. And you know, the more that happens, the more she's panicking, and it just all went horribly.
Yeah, I mean, the second this whole elimination thing dropped, I think Rachel like fumbled the whole bag. Just how she approached this. Like if I was her, I think the strategy for Rachel would just try not to even be in the conversation to go up. But, yeah. Or, you know, go first, second. So I don't know. It's tough because they should only have to blame. But I don't know. It's just a shitty comp, shitty twist.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though, is like there's no way to really game it out because you don't like without being able to, especially not being able to see other people do the competition. It's just kind of random, right? Like you don't know whether you'll be good at it. So you don't, and you also don't know like if it is a really easy competition and like you're like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me. But then like 5 people get it and like now it's down to 1.5 minutes or whatever. And now like you're one of like 2 or 3 people left to get picked. Like now that strategy is bad, like, but you couldn't have predicted that. So like the obvious strategy I think is to get picked first. Cause like I would say on average, if everyone is like, okay, the challenge, then you're probably going to get picked at some point. So you want to get picked with the most possible time. And also like with the way they had the Judges Alliance, the idea in theory is to like run the clock down until they get to a point where it's like not enough and then try to throw a Kelly or Keanu in. But like, even with that strategy, right? Like they were planning on putting up somebody at 2:30. But like Kelly might have been able to do it at 2:30. She's really good at these like weird puzzle competition things she's shown in the blockbusters. So like what happens then if Kelly randomly gets it at 2:30? Well, now whichever one of the judges hasn't gone left is going to have to do 1:30, and they're probably going to get eliminated, even if they executed their strategy correctly, even if they manipulated Lauren correctly, even if they, did the competition successfully, all of them, at a certain point, it doesn't matter. And it's just a matter of like flipping the coin of like whether, the person does the comp with the amount of time that you've guessed that they might do the comp or not.
It's just a lose-lose. This
Yeah, that's why like it's very like, it's easy in hindsight to say like, should have done this, should have done that, but like that's with hindsight. They don't have any of this information in real time, and they did succeed in making correct strategic plays. Vince did successfully manipulate Lauren to do something completely idiotic. The judges did have relative control over what was happening, despite Ava picking randomly for no reason because she got pissy. Like they still had the social control over the situation, and they still lost one of their members. So like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep. Sucks they're put in the position, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, Chad, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, you can follow me on all the socials right down here.
Ben, same thing.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I'm going to be tweeting about the season. I've been my feed watching and coverage and following has been much limited after the last week, partially because of the twist and not being happy with the season, but a lot of because just the feeds have been really fucking boring. So I don't know if you can follow me there, but I don't expect me to tweet about Big Brother for the rest of the season. I probably won't that much.
Yep, same. Anyways, you can follow the main channel. We get everything. This channel is Better Radio or the Have Not Room, depending on where you're watching it. Subscribe to both of those. We also have Those Fake Nerds and Wicked Good Sports. Follow us on TikTok, everywhere else. And we will see you in the next one.